Hello class, how are you all? Today we are going to start chapter 8 of our civics, social justice and the marginalized group. In this chapter you will study about marginalization, social justice in constitution, social inequality, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, Adivasis, reservation, minority groups, equality in real sense, child labor. Let's start with marginalization. Marginalization refers to the tendency within society to push those who are considered lacking the desired traits to the margin or periphery. In simple words, not being accepted by society and even denied to certain basic rights. They are treated unequally and have been pushed towards a low social status. Some people all over the world live on the margin or the edge of the society. Such people are called marginalized. A democratic form of government presupposes a democratic form of society. The formal framework of democracy is of no value and would indeed be a misfit if there was no social democracy. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. The process of marginalization has kept these people backward and illiterate. Marginalization has also brought about social as well as economic inequalities. Social justice in Constitution. After attaining independence on August 5, 1947, India opted for a sovereign and secular democracy. The Indian Constitution gave equal rights to every citizen and also recognized the need for safeguarding the interest of those who had suffered at the hands of higher caste or the rich. The shameful concept of caste aims to uplift the condition of the downtrodden or marginalized section of society to achieve the ideal of social justice as laid down in our constitution. Our constitutional spirit, that is our preamble, clearly mentions justice, social, economical and political, liberty of thoughts, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and opportunity, fraternity assuring the dignity of the individual. It is true that social justice, individual rights, equality of opportunity and public participation in decision making made a successful democracy. But even after over 60 years, we have not achieved the goals of social and economic justice and are still to create an environment where everyone can live with dignity and honor. Do you think how some sections of the society became marginalized? Social inequality. The biggest form of social inequality in India is the caste system. Due to the rigidity of the caste system, a number of social evils emerged. It became a tool for creating social inequality and means to exploit people from the lower caste. Illiteracy. The basic facility like education, health and change of profession were denied to the lower caste. Education became confined to the upper caste. This gave rise to illiteracy. Lack of choices. The people belonging to the lower caste were denied not only the freedom of choice in their profession but were also from dining with or marrying people beyond their own caste. Untouchability. The people belonging to the lower caste were subjected to all kinds of insults and were forced to take up menial jobs. They were considered as polluting and were treated as untouchables because of the nature of their work. They were socially outcast. They were not allowed to enter temples along with their caste or participate in social functions of social gathering of the high caste people. They were forced to live on the outskirts of the village. They were not allowed to draw drinking water from the village well and change their occupation. Thus they remained outcast and economically weak. The Mushahars. Let us study the condition of Mushahars to understand the need for social justice that is closely related to economic justice. Musahars survive on the margins of villages in isolated settlements. Their traditional occupation was hunting out of rats from burrows in the fields. In return, they were allowed to keep the grains and chaff recovered from the rat holes. In times of drought and food scarcity, the Musarat Shar food would resort to eating rats. Many Mushahar families work as bonded laborers at brick kilns. Even today, most Mushahars continue to be poor and illiterate farm laborers. Only about 1 in 10 can read. Until recently, they did not even know that they were entitled to a ration card. They number about 10 lakhs each in the states of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh and are referred to as Dalits among the Dalits. Do you know The government proposed to promote rat farming for Musahars, but they rejected the proposal. They said, we want our children to learn to use a computer mouse, not catch mice. Like Musahars, some other Dalit communities were also oppressed and discriminated under the caste system. They were treated as inferiors. The higher caste shunned any contact with them and forced them to live apart from other communities. They were allowed to do only the filthiest and most menial jobs. They were denied opportunities like education, employment, etc. So they have remained backward due to exploitation, discrimination, and marginalization. Do you know Article 15 prohibits caste discrimination, Article 16 is for equal employment opportunity. Scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. The cases of Dalits and Adivasis which are listed scheduled in the Constitution of India are known as scheduled caste and scheduled tribes respectively. The framers of our constitution realized that the development of India was possible only if it was made necessary to ensure that those sectors of society are uplifted. Economically and socially disadvantaged communities of India, also known as Dalits, Harijans or untouchables, are known as scheduled caste. They include people who were leather workers, scavengers, tanners, flyers, cobblers, agricultural laborers, drum beaters, folk musicians, and street handicraft persons. They were discriminated and exploited by the higher caste on one hand and the colonial powers on the other hand due to their monopoly over the resources. Do you know, to ensure the Dalits a rightful and respectful place in society, Gandhiji called them Harijan or God's own people. Adivasis. Adi origin, Vasi dweller. Adivasi were natives of the land. They were traditionally dependent on forest for food, fodder, housing, cattle and craft. This is the image of Adivasis. Adivasi is a Sanskrit origin word meaning original inhabitants. They have traditionally inhabited hills, forest and dry plateau region. They settled in Chota Nagpur area which is rich in minerals. Our knowledge about the tribals is very limited. We are still ignorant about their life, their suffering and their contribution in enriching India's diverse culture and heritage. Gradually, the Adivasis are losing their identity, traditional occupation and way of life in the name of development. The end of their traditional lifestyle had resulted in marginalization and exploitation, which forces them to continue to live in poverty. The rich culture of Adivasi is an important part of India's heritage. For example, the Bishnois, a tribal community of Rajasthan, preserve animals and plants life. It has been a religion to them since the 15th century. Their spiritual mentor, Jambeshwarji, formulated 29 tenets, Bish 20, Noi 9. This is the origin of their name. The tenets are related to the personal hygiene, maintaining good basic health, healthy social behavior and worship of God. 8 tenets direct them to preserve biodiversity and encourage good animal husbandry. Their religion bans animal killing, felling green trees and direct them to protect all life forms. The Bishnoi conservationists take care of nature and grow with it instead of exploiting it. They have contributed more to environment and wildlife protection than the entire country put together. Do you know Jyotiba Phule 1827 to 1890 was born in a Mali gardener family of Pune and belonged to Shudra Varna. He was educated at a mission school and began his work as a social reformer to educate untouchable boys and girls. He trained his wife to train the girls. He established Satyashodak Samaj that organized the lower caste against the Hindu Varna system. He wrote about the slavery of lower caste and exploitation by the Brahmin priest. Like the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes have also been subjected to social and economic injustice. The government has launched many schemes for their welfare, but they are disenchanted with them as the schemes have provided more money-making opportunities to the rich and higher caste, and the Adivasis have mostly been given the option of manual labor. This is the image of Jyotiba Phule. As a result of exploitation, many a time the resentment has surfaced in the form of protest and revolts against higher caste, landlords and the colonial power, but was quickly suppressed in merciless manner to teach others not to raise their heads against the tyranny of the powerful ever again. Some brave men had the courage to stand against the system to improve the lot of people like them. Do you know, India has the proud privilege of having the largest tribal population in the world, that is 8.2%, which comes to 82 million people. A report of social justice and development to India. Lush forest and gurgling streams surrounding the village fail to hide the misery and poverty of the Adivasis. Kirbiri is a village in Orissa where 300 families were forced to shift from their village by forest rangers. This ended their traditional lifestyle as well as occupation. Their chieftain says, Jai Jangal और जमीन हमारे लिए जल जंगल और जमीन हमारे लिए जीवन है इनके बिना हमारा अस्तित्व नहीं है efforts made for upliftment of scheduled tribes Adivasis. Do you know Article 17 of the Indian Constitution abolishes untouchability. Many efforts are being made to encourage education among the tribal people. Different facilities are provided to improve their standard of living. Several multipurpose development blocks and cooperative societies have been set up to improve their lot economically. Voluntary organizations have also contributed to the upliftment of the tribals by encouraging them to develop skills that can help their economic development. Reservation. Even during the national movement for the independence of India from the British, the plight of backward sections of the society was a matter of great concern. Therefore, the constitution framers included the provision of reservation uplift historically oppressed and marginalized sections of society who were denied respect and equality. Underprivileged and the underrepresented needed equal opportunity in nation building activities. Hence, the affirmative action of reservation was introduced. Under it, a percentage of seats were reserved in the public sector units, union and state civil services, union and state departments, and all public and private educational institutions for the socially and economically backward classes, listed as scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Do you know Mandal Commission? Other backward classes, they are those castes and communities that are notified as socially and educationally backward classes by the state government or those by the state government or those may be notified as such by the central government from time to time. They were listed as other backward classes on the recommendations of the Second Backward Class Commission under chairmanship of B.P. Mandal in 1978. The OBC communities mainly comprise small cultivators, agricultural laborers, artisans, people engaged in weaving, fishing, construction, work, etc. They constitute a majority of poor and backward population that have been producing a variety of goods and services, but continue to suffer due to unfair terms and conditions. There was a lot of protest against the interest of other sections of society that were economically backward. Do you know? Mandal Commission recommended 27% reservation in government jobs for OBCs. Do you know? Our constitution has provided reservation for the SC/ST for a period of 10 years, but it has been extending the deadline for reservation and expanding it to achieve a welfare state and bring the marginalized into the mainstream. Minority groups. Along with safeguarding the interest of ST, SC, OBCs, the Constitution of India also safeguards interest of the minorities. Their number is much less than the majority community and hence they are known as minority communities like Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Persians, Anglo-Indians, etc. on the basis of race, religion or language among all the minorities. Muslims are the largest single minority community in India. The Muslim backwardness in the country is evident. They lag behind the majority community both educationally and economically. Many Muslim children are still opting for education in traditional institutions, which is primarily religious. They are far from modern and technical education. Our Indian government is taking major steps to opt for modern education and bring them to be part of the mainstream. Do you know? A minority in one state may be majority in another or the other way around. Muslims are the largest community in population of Kashmir, but they are in minority in Punjab. Equality in real sense. Whatever be the efforts taken by the government, we still find that 50% of people doing the mental job are backward and are being stereotyped for this job. Together, the whole society must work towards equality in all respects. Efforts must be made to create awareness among people to remove discrimination and exploitation. Child labor. Though the directive principles of state policy state that the children below 14 years of age must not work in factories and that free and compulsory education must be given to all children below 14 years, yet we find 15 million children working as laborers for a meager amount of rupees 20 to rupees 50 per day. They work on dhabas, tea shops, etc. in a miserable condition. This is the image of children working in a factory. Minorities should have a rightful share in the benefit of development. They cannot be isolated and forced to live on the fringes. On the other hand, minorities must earn friendship and good feelings for others. They need to emphasize that they are part of the whole. This will strengthen the composite culture of India. As per the policy of the Indian government, SC, ST, OBC minorities need improvement. The benefit of progress must be distributed in such a way that neither the creamy layer among these sections of society nor the majority monopolies the national resources. They should be distributed equally. The family being the measuring unit of a society or a community, it is compulsory that all types of families are strengthened and developed simultaneously for a just and equitable society. The term creamy layer is used for the relatively wealthier and better educated numbers of the backward classes. It is urged that they should not continue to avail the benefits of reservation. The minorities have to be provided this rightful place and have to be protected from being dominated and discriminated. Sometimes a minority community may feel threatened by the majority, which gives rise to insecurity. All communities must keep in mind that development can continue only when each and every Indian keeps in mind that the development can continue only when each and every Indian joins hands and national interest wins over individual interest. Let us look on the fourth largest group of religious minority. They are about 2% of the multi-religious, multi-ethnic population of 1 billion. Despite its small size, the Sikh community has played a pioneering role in the field of defense, business and sports. India is a secular country. The provisions in the constitution and laws of the government safeguard the interest of all by providing them opportunities in all fields. It is true that equality is a necessary condition for democracy. Each and every Indian needs to work toward ending the suffering caused by discrimination, deprivation and lack of social and economic justice. It is the prime duty of a democratic government to remove inequalities. Government is taking measures for the upliftment of those who are not able to enjoy the benefits of development. It is trying to remove all inequalities and establish an equalitarian society. Summing up, some people all over the world live on the margin or the edge of the society. Such people are called marginalized. Marginalization has brought about social as well as economic inequalities. The Constitution framers included the provision of reservation to uplift historically oppressed and marginalized sections of society who were denied respect and equality. Along with safeguarding the interest of ST, SC, OBCs, the Constitution of India also safeguards the interest of the other minorities. Thank you class. Let's meet in the next chapter.